Hello everybody, welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about map control and defending territory, or how to come back. This game is between Newbee and Virtus Pro. Newbee have taken a really strong lead. We've got the Aegis right now on Vengeful Spirit. They're running this core Vengeful Spirit Bane combo with the Bane mid lane played by no one. So this game is from Dota Pit. You can see the match ID here and the date and time. So what we're going to look at is this 10-minute window. The game actually ends at about 31 minutes, I think. So we're going to look at this 10-minute window where VG have this lead, and it's going to increase more than it is right now. So VG have this lead, and we're going to see how Newbee come back and what they do. And what about the draft, and each hero enables them to do so. And the same for VP, why the draft is difficult to end the game with, to win the game with. So in a lot of ways, because of the hero matchups as well, and to a lesser extent maybe the teams, VP are notorious for struggling to go high ground against Chinese teams in particular. So for the heroes and a little bit of the teams, this is something of a stereotypical throw or comeback game. So other games might show other mechanics, but this is the classic example, if you will. So right now in the game, there's a gold lead for VP. They've got this Aegis, and they're just taking map control. They're removing the towers. They just had a bit of a fight here where they lost Slider at the tier 3, which is where up here was used. Now they're going to retreat back up and try to push lanes in again. So there's an instant smoke out from Newbee in response to that. They're going to leave one hero, and that's going to be the PA. PA with Magnus behind him is really the meat and bones of this combo, of this team really. And what they're going to do is look for lone heroes, if VP were to have any heroes here. And they're going to place some wards, and because they've smoked up, VP don't have any idea where these wards are. Now VP actually do almost the same thing, but they're moving in different directions, so they don't meet each other. There's a smoke up from about here, past the wards, and they want to take over this area now, and maybe get that last outer tower. So the Aegis just times out then. And now this is a stage of the game where VP want to wait for that next Aegis. So where are the wards on VP right now? They've got 2 observer wards sitting on solo. So they're going to try to take this tower. It's hard for Newbee to defend right now, especially, well, mainly because the Mirana is still pretty underfarmed. Hard lane up against the Bane. So right now, VP are trying to just take aggressive control of the map. They tried to get a ward here before, but that was dewarded. They had a ward here now. And now that the tower's been taken, Solo goes and puts this aggressive ward. So this is them along with the ward here he just placed. So this is VP trying to, ideally, including the ward here, they're trying to create a barrier here. So anytime VP step out, they can pounce. So the Nature's Prophet will defend bot from the push. You can see what Newbee are trying to do here. They placed 2 wards. They placed this one just 10-15 seconds ago. So what these 2 wards do in comparison to these wards, it's actually quite similar. Anytime that VP put heroes here unsupported, so they've got a hero solo farming here, a hero solo farming here, a hero solo farming here. But if they were to have heroes vulnerably farming here, let's say the Slider for example, for any period of time, Newbee can first of all see that, like they see that, see this arrow shows that SC knew that Lil was hanging around in that area. So I'm going to pause it here actually. So just to slow down and talk about the wards, because this is very important. for controlling territory on the map. So these wards will show Newbee anytime that VP present themselves for a chance to come back. And they're also, it's important to note that they're together, and what this does is provide a really big catch area. This is an area of the map that Newbee can fight in. It's important when you're having fighting wards like that, so that they can cover a big area. Say if you want to do the Roche Pit is one, you don't just want one isolated ward. You want a ward covering this area, and you want a ward covering this area. And if you have a ward covering this area as well, what can the enemy do? So these wards are offering something very similar. Newbee have stepped up into them. VP know they're all there, and they want to, because they're very strong and their power spike is here, they want to try to take a fight. However, Newbee are going to play conservative. They don't want to take a fight just yet. They want to extend the game a little. I'll show the net worth actually. Extend the game a little bit and get a little bit more farm. Specifically, they want this BKB on Phantom Assassin. Everything in this draft of Newbee is around this Phantom Assassin. So it's very important that as a defending team, as any team, defending or offensive, you want to hit your timing, or you want to get the item that enables you to take that fight, or to make that play. So for this game, it's the BKB. So Lil is just waiting for anybody to show. He's not farming this wave, even though he wants to get this Midas, right? He's waiting to see what Newbee will do. So Newbee aren't showing. They have... let's show the Roshan timing actually. 22 minutes in. I'm just going to pause for one moment. Okay, yep. So 22 minutes in. The next big objective is this Roshan. It can spawn in 4 seconds. And Newbee, I'm going to pause here. Newbee have done what they did before with their previous smoke again. They've left the PA, it's just a replay bug, it's not actually hazed. They've left one hero, their wave clear hero, to push out the lanes, and they've smoked up with the rest of their team. What they can do here is put some vision down, so they got wards on the Ogre, and they can contest the Roche. The last thing that Newbee want to do is give another Aegis to Ramses. Okay, so we'll let it play here. Now VP don't have vision in the pit. They don't see a lot of Newbee around, so they make a play thinking that Newbee might go bot. They don't expect the play to go right into the Roche pit. And they realize a little bit too late now. With the Deso on PA, this drops really, really quickly. And with really good ward vision right now, there's sentries here to make sure that, and a ward here to make sure that Newbee can defend this area, so they get this Aegis. See Magnus out the back, so he can get an uncontested blink RP. So we want to slow this fight down. Right down so we can see how it pans out. So stun onto solo. The PA now with the BKB and Aegis. Huge turnaround for him. Goes straight on a solo, but he's got a Ghost Scepter. So Ramses and no one on the left here. KP cancels that RP. PA chasing the Disruptor. And now Newbee are pretty isolated right now. Lil's able to stun up half the team. The Magnus goes down, gets chased down without being able to get an RP off. Newbee goes 1 sec. Sorry, I just got interrupted there. So the PA is going back onto Lil, trying to get the weak supports, but VP have really effectively taking down the weak heroes of Newbee one by one. The grip comes out onto SC now. Ramsey is able to do damage to him. And it's now a 4-1 onto this poor old PA. No BKB, and he's going to get focused down. He's still a squishy hero, especially to this kind of damage amp. So you might think that is a huge win for VP, but it's actually not. It's much more of a draw at best for VP. They look to press the immediate advantage that they've gained as hard as they can, and they go bot with the Nature's Prophet push. So they're going to take this Rax. If PA doesn't buy back, he does, and the threat of the RP and PA is going to be enough to force or to get VP to back off. Very little mana, hard for them to take this fight. VP at this stage still, it's indicated by this Midas purchase, or this Midas. At 17 minutes or so, he was going to get this Midas on low, and it shows you their game plan. Basically, it's to suffocate. They're going high ground into this. They needed to really crush Newbee and get, most importantly, get that second Aegis. So now the third Aegis is their timing to go high ground. So it's a really, really good play from Newbee. It's a proactive play to make that defense, even though it eventually costed PA a buyback. But she's alright. She's still going to be really the main farmer on her team. She's still going to farm pretty fast because she's got the cleave. And even with no buyback, Newbee are going to make an aggressive smoke again, similar to their first smoke. They're going to go into this area of the map, and they can place, where they already have wards. They can place more wards if they want. They can pick off a hero if he wasn't playing safe. And it's just, it's a really good example of how to be proactive even though you are behind. And even though, if you were to lose a fight, if you were to lose this PA right now, it might signal a real problem for you. So where are we? 26 minutes. Just pause that here. So Newbee, so VP meanwhile are playing pretty conservatively. They would need to really win a fight comprehensively for them to go high ground off it now without the Aegis. So they're gonna wait, farm up a little bit, and try to get a squeeze on the map so that they can get something more guaranteed. So a D ward trying to control this area. This is the ward that Newbee placed just when they smoked out. This is pretty similar in intention or purpose to the wards they had here, but only now it's a little more defensive. It's a little down here. So if there's a Prophet, for example, to TP in and push this lane, they can pounce on him. Or if Ramsey was to stay around alone, they can pounce on him. So VP trying to D-ward and take control. Solo thinks that Newbee are actually down in their base still. They haven't been showing on the map except for SC. It's a pretty evasive hero, so you might feel safe. But Newbee are playing this defensively really well. They're just going around this high ground. The wards that VP had before have expired now. Not that Newbee were privy to that, but they're just taking a solid defensive position up on this high ground. And Solo makes a bit of a mistake here, walks up, gets stunned, and almost immediately dies. So a bit of patience from Newbee gets rewarded, and when they're so far behind, 16k behind, at 27, any kills are worth a lot. But it's not that dire even still for Newbee. Going back to the nature of their draft, you have to remember, or have to keep in mind, that this was a Bane mid. And that's a hero that really struggles to make that leap to the high ground. So just patience from patience from Newbee here at 27 minutes. You can see the only time that any hero has been alone was just then with SC, and even his team was just here. So they're just playing together. They're not giving VP any opportunities to pick them off, which they very much can, with the global presence of this Nature's Prophet. 26 minute, Hex is really strong. So right now I'm going to replay this in slower motion. I'm going to show you from Radiant perspective. So 3 heroes from VP show mid. You're going to see this Nature's Prophet just walk up here. So 3 heroes show from VP. Newbee are watching. Newbee know that they're there. And they think to themselves, we feel strong enough to take a fight, or strong enough to maybe take a pick off, even though we're a little bit behind. We have a team because of the Magnus and because of the PA, who's also buffed by Ogre. We maybe take a fight. So Lil put down Solo and Lil put down sentries here, but there's not clean initiation. Lil gets fogged before he can stun, and then he gets stunned before he can go on the Magnus. So the BKB comes out from PA, goes straight onto Lil. Magnus gets interfered with, but that's mostly okay, because the only person vulnerable right now for Newbee is the BKB at PA. So no one grips him, but then he gets scared by the presence of Mirana, you would think, or at least Kaka, and doesn't complete the Fiend's Grip. Actually, he blinks away, which allows Mugi to just run on. He's still got his 8-second duration BKB. The threat of the threat of the RP is still there, even though he's getting interfered with from Solo really well. And the PA and Mirana are just kind of overrunning VP right now. Their main control is gone. Disruptors used his spells, Banes used his spells. Lil got jumped on first. And it's a triple kill for SC. He's the one that... Mugi's the one, along with Magnus, that really drew all the attention from VP. And SC was able to find the angle and run on. So it's a really well played fight from Newbee this time around, after last well played fight from VP. Not only do they get 3 kills, they actually now use the RP on the Venge here. And that's 4 kills. You see immediately the gold drop. It was from 16 or almost 17,000 down to 9. That's just one well executed fight. Didn't even use RP until the very end, but the threat of it was very much present. So afterwards, Newbee immediately looked to press that small advantage, straight down to mid, try to take this tower. PA is just an absolute force right now. She's the highest net worth, but that's amped again. That's so massively amped by these 3 heroes. This is a team that's built around one hero, so anything that she has is amped so much more. She's got an aggressive empower, she's got a bloodlust, and she's got the defensive ability of Dazzle. I didn't talk about Dazzle last fight, but his presence makes it really hard for VP to initiate on anybody. Even now, 2 heroes trapped, they can't really go, because the Dazzle's just going to do what he's done now. He's going to heal, and then he's going to provide a grave. So, a little bit of an overextension from VP. Mugi again. BKB goes in. The Bane's the only answer to this BKB, and he's not able to get this Fiend's Grip on. And now, I've got to actually replay this fight. So I'm talking about conceptual things. A little bit. I want to talk about why this was a good time to fight for Newbee as well. And the main reason was, replay is a little bit buggy, but the main reason was Venge wasn't up yet. Venge is the only damage from VP. The only real damage. That's a bit of a draft issue. So 10 seconds to venge. No one's gone on. The only real major control has come out already from Solo. There's only a Hex now from Pasha. But with the BKB activated, can't do a thing. Pasha has to run away, and Lil can't interfere with that. So it's just a really, really patient defense from Newbee and executing the fight well. At this point, gold lead is less and less and less. And the Roshan is now looking to be Newbee's. You would say at this point, the game is in Newbee's hand. They're in control now. They're going to press high ground. It's very hard for VP to do anything from this point because their lane advantage that their draft is so reliant on is just gone. So Rax falls, no buybacks. Prophet tries to rat, but it's mostly insignificant. I'm just going to let the game play out while I talk, make some summary points. So I'll just pause here now. So I believe I was up to here before I paused. I just accidentally started talking without resuming, so might have lost some continuity there, but I'm sure it's not too bad. The last points that I wanted to make were predominantly about the draft and team fights. Newbee had strong defense this game in that they had the ability to take fights and they had the ability to wave clear, most of which is provided by the Magnus, and to a lesser extent wave clear from the Mirana. So it's a lot of this is about, a lot of coming back is actually about having the draft that might enable you to. The draft like VP have is just not able to. They don't have the wave clear, and they don't really have the AoE control that would punish somebody walking up to your high ground into a choke point, for example. So you can see the end of the game there. Well played to Newbee. In the team fights, you saw how much of a threat the Magnus was, even though he didn't actually get big IPs. The threat drew so much attention that it opened up space for PA and Mirana to capitalize. I don't think you can underestimate the importance of the Dazzle in this as well. There's a lot of buffs coming out from the Ogre and the Magnus, but the Dazzle provides something else in defense. It provides a save and it provides heals that Virtus Pro don't have. Pushing teams and early game teams like the one VP have actually typically have that kind of heals and sustain that will fuel the engine, so to speak. So it's actually quite uncommon for them to have this super aggressive, which is really what it is super ultra aggressive lineup. And you see, anytime that VP wanted to go in the 5v5 situation, anytime VP wanted to go onto the Ogre or the PA or the Magnus even, for example, they weren't able to get the kill. The Roche fight excluded. They weren't able to actually get that into a kill. Dazzle was able to help them out. And 4-star from Ogre was also pretty useful for that end. The VP really needed that against the PA. Once the PA had BKB, no one wasn't really able to control him as well because of the threat from Mirana. So yeah, I think that covers everything that I really wanted to talk about this game. All about defensive Dota and coming back from a deficit. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was concise. Hope you got something out of it. Cheers for watching. Take it easy.